In lesson 9.2, part B, we're going to focus on solving quadratic equations in the form ax squared plus bx equals 0. I'm going to give you one of the most revolutionary concepts I'll tell you about all year. Some equations can be solved by factoring. Consider the following products. 6 times 0 equals 0. 0 times negative 3 equals 0. 5 minus 5 times 0 equals 0. Negative 2 times negative 3 plus 3, which adds up to 0, equals 0. Notice in each case, at least one of the factors is 0. These examples illustrate the zero product property. The zero product property says that if the product of two factors is 0, then at least one of the factors must be 0. For any real numbers a and b, if a times b equals 0, then either a equals 0, b equals 0, or both a and b equal 0. So if we have x minus 2 times 4x minus 1 equals 0, either x minus 2 equals 0 or 4x minus 1 must equal 0. So to solve this little equation, all I have to do is add 2 to both sides, and x equals 2. To solve this equation, we could add 1 to both sides. We have 4x equals 1. We still need to divide by 4, so x equals 1/4. This is not an ordered pair. Order doesn't matter, so they use braces to show. I don't care if you write 2 1/4 or 1/4 2. Or frankly, I don't care if you just circle your answers. You can always check if we put 2 back into the original equation. 2 minus 2 times 4 times 2 minus 1, of course, is 0 because 2 minus 2 is 0. If we put in 1/4, 1/4 minus 2, I don't care, because 4 times 1/4 is 1, minus 1 is 0. Now to solve this guy, some of you guys are going to want to divide both sides by y. Don't do it. You'll lose the solution. Okay, what we want to do first is put everything on the same side of the equation. So I'm going to have 0 equals 12y squared minus 4y. My greatest common factor now is 4y. And when I factor that out, I'm going to have 3y minus 1 left. So now I'm back to where I was before with the zero product property. And I can have 4y equals 0 or 3y minus 1 equals 0. If I divide both sides by 4, 0 divided into as many groups as I want will always be 0. Add 1 to both sides. 3y equals 1, divide by 3, and y is 1/3. When you go to check, it's always a good idea to go back to the very, very first equation you started with. So if I go 4 times 0, sure enough, that equals 12 times 0 squared. Yup. With the 1/3, 4 times 1/3 is going to be 4/3. And I sure hope that equals 12 times 1/3 squared to be 1/9. If we cancel, sure enough, 4/3 equals 4/3. So my check works. My solutions are 0 and 1/3. To factor, we can find the greatest common factor, then use the distributive property. With 4 or more terms, try factoring by grouping. And factoring can be used to solve some equations by using the zero product property, which says that for any real numbers a and b, either a times b equals 0, either a equals 0, b equals 0, or both a and b are 0.